Hello YouTube, Proxy here, and boy oh boy do I have mixed opinions on this game. There's some stuff I liked about it and some stuff I disliked. However, before I begin, this first impression was based off the closed beta, and a lot of the features for the game were supposedly disabled. That said, I will be judging the game purely off this closed beta test experience, as I doubt the experience will be much different within the space of a week or so of releasing. First off, the graphics are fine, there are some quite scenic views in game, though this isn't the best graphics I've seen utilised on the Unreal 4 engine, and generally the graphics are good enough for the purpose that it serves. I do feel the game looks better in first person, however the usefulness of third person kind of overwhelms the first person playstyle. I like the UI, it's pretty simple and very much so reminds me of Skyrim in some ways. At first glance it only seems the two spells can be equipped and used, however the button functionality is more than it seems. You have 2 consumable slots, 2 spell slots and the main weapon, you can switch to the secondary weapon for an additional 2 alternative spells, as well as the ability to use various trinkets such as brooms. I think some more button interaction would be great. It currently has less skills to press than the average MOBA. I think by adding some effects or different charges or uses for spells would be great, as currently it feels way too simple to control. Also in terms of the UI, I find it a bit tedious to navigate for crafting and would like a quicker, more responsive crafting menu. Other than that, the UI is perfectly fine. In terms of sound and music and audio, the music on the login screen is great, the ambient sounds in game are decent, some of the spell sounds are a little cheap and feel like placeholders and could certainly use some improvement. However, the ambient sounds for walking and other things are fairly good. The game contains no survival elements like eating or drinking water to live, and honestly I don't miss them. This allows the game to focus more on the sandbox aspects of the game, which I'm perfectly fine with it doing. However, I do find it's a shame that the biomes are purely visual currently, and the game would be much better if these biomes had more of a physical impact with them. I currently like the party system and the guild systems. They are designed in a way to easily get your group or guild up and running without many issues. And also the grouping system makes finding friends in game exceptionally easy and not a chore. Currently, a lot of the cool guild features are disabled or not implemented, which is a shame as I really wanted to test those out. Flying on a broom is good, it's not the fastest way to travel, but it's great at getting past obstacles or making a nice well-hidden base, and it consumes mana when you fly. However, with being able to literally spam mana potions, you can pretty much fly forever. And in my opinion, the potions really need to have some kind of cooldown on them, or some kind of debuff effect. In terms of travelling long distances, the haste spell is amazing and you can travel exceptionally long distances, escape PvP encounters, engage in PvP encounters, and run from stuff trying to murderize you. And you get it at like level 5 and it's awesomely fun. Also, Pacify is a great spell for taming mobs, but it comes with some issues as I will talk about later. Base building is pretty standard, though lacks the ability to twist or turn things in the way I would like, something that is certainly done better in Conan Exiles for sure. Also during the beta, building was bugged, and for some reason placing newly placed structures did not display correctly until we relogged each time, which got somewhat annoying. Essentially, building is currently similar to what you would expect in other survival games with the addition of arcane defenses, which we couldn't really get access to as the level requirements for cool stuff was too damn high. In terms of progression, the game is fine till around about level 10 or 15. But after this point, XP gains feels like a pure grind, and you get the feeling in general that you're running out of interesting things to do. Most caves or dungeons are quite small and linear, and don't really offer much to explore, and the world itself currently doesn't feel very rewarding to explore. All the good treasure locations are already pre-marked on the map. Also, the fact you have to grind this substantially to get access to all the cool spells or features of the game, it's quite time consuming to actually get to that point where you can use all the fun toys. And for me, a big part of sandbox games like this should be having lots of toys to mess around with and tools to experiment in this sandbox environment. Also in terms of fast travel, honestly I don't see why they made a 36km square map and gave so many fast travel options. It just makes this big open world sandbox feel very small very quickly. The PvP is fast paced and hilarious, and it feels like some crazy over the top mage duel when it does actually happen, even at low levels. Usually the fights initiate with haste and then end up with spamming fireballs or they go to damage spells and CCs. However, once again, due to the combat being so simplistic in its current form, it gets old relatively quickly. To summarise this first impression of Citadel is a great foundation for a game. However, the game's balance, the direction of the game, and its current design feels very experimental and lacking of features. I think the game seriously needs some development time and could certainly use readjustments in several areas, especially when it comes to the fast travel, and things such as the Pacify spell being overpowered as you can tame even the highest level of mobs in the game at low level and go AFK and get XP for 30 minutes. It needs work for sure, and I'd expect it to be in early access for quite some some time. And the big question is, would I buy this game in its current state? And honestly, I don't think I would buy it myself right now, but I can totally see myself buying this in the future if they improved it and gave it more content. And then yes, it would be most likely I would end up buying this game. So why would you buy this game over its competitors such as Dark and Light? Well, Blue Isle is a really cool indie developer, and supporting the little guys and one that communicates openly and accepts feedback is great. Sure, it probably won't have as much polish or content as Dark and Light offers. However, you wouldn't have to deal with Snail and its corporate greed. And with Blue Isle's plans to add a community-based in-game feedback system which will allow the players to choose the direction of the game, you would actually be involved with the game's development. And that's something that's very unlikely to happen with a Snail game. So when it comes down to buying Dark or Light or Citadel, well honestly it comes down to if you want a content-filled, polished product from a company like Snail with a poor reputation towards its customers. Or if you want to support the underdog indie studio who openly accepts community feedback despite the game being quite experimental and lacking in current features. One thing is for certain, Citadel definitely forced Dark and Light to release early. So to Blue Isle Studios I say well played. Well, if you have been on the fence about these two games, hopefully my first impression of it will help you come to a conclusion. If it has helped you come to a conclusion, let me know in the comments below. And as always guys, thanks for watching.